Welcome to our YouTube channel Mathematical Pathshala. In this lecture, we are going to discuss integral equation solution of CSIR NET June 2019 session. In that session, they have asked only two questions. One question is of 3 marks and the rest question is of 4.75 marks. So the total weightage is 7.75 marks. So let us begin with the problems. Problem number 1. If y is a solution of the integral equation yx is equal to 1 plus integral 0 to x minus t yt dt, then which of the following is true? Option A, y is bounded but not periodic, so they are asking the nature of the solution. Can you claim directly the nature of the solution from here? If you see here, you cannot conclude anything about y. Now this is a Volterra integral equation, so there are various methods for solving this problem. Either you convert this integral equation into an ordinary differential equation, then solve it, or you apply the Laplace transform, then solve it. So both methods are good here. If you convert this equation into differential equation, you have y at 0 is 1 because your integral will go 0 to 0. So this integral will be 0 because your area is over the integral from 0 to 0 of this function will be 0. So your y at 0 value will be 1. Derivative. This function is differentiable and it is a solution of ordinary differential equation. So this is a continuous function, this is a polynomial. So this is continuous, and by Riemann theory, if this is continuous, then this integral becomes differentiable. So you can apply the Newton-Leibniz formula. It will be integral 0 to x, differentiate this partially with respect to x, you are going to get 1 from here. This is simply yt dt. I will be having this, and plus if you put x in place of t, this part will be 0, and if you are putting this, the differentiation of this will be 0 by using Newton-Leibniz formula. So I will be having only this. Now you can observe y dash at 0, this is 0 because this integral from 0 to 0 y dt will be 0. So this is second condition. Y double dash x, by using Newton-Leibniz formula, it will be yx. So I will be having y double dash minus y is equal to 0 with this and this condition. So this is an ordinary differential equation. This is easy to solve. So if you solve this, you are going to get c1 e power x plus c2 e power minus x. Apply the initial condition. Y at 0, the value is 1. So c1 plus c2 is 1. Okay, wait for 1 second. Y at 0, your value is 1. So this is c1 plus c2. Okay. Now y dash at 0 is 0. अगर आप इसका डेरिवेटिव करोगे, so it will be c1 minus c2. So c1 minus c2 is 0 and c1 plus c2 is 0. So if you add these two, you are going to get c1 is 1 by 2 and c2 is 1 by 2. So c1 is 1 by 2, c2 is 1 by 2. So your y is equal to e power x plus e power minus x by 2. This is a solution, and this is nothing but the cos hyperbolic x, cos hx. If you know the graph of this function, it is like this. At x is equal to 0, this value will be 1. When you approach towards infinity, this part will take it to infinity. This will take it to 0. So this whole will go to infinity. So as x approaches infinity, it approaches infinity. As x approaches minus infinity, this part take this function to infinity. This will be 0. So as x approaches minus infinity, it approaches infinity. So the y is equal to cos hyperbolic x. This is your actual solution. Option A, y is a bounded but not periodic, false. Option B, y is periodic, false. It is not periodic. You can see the graph is not repeating itself after certain interval. Option C, integral r yx dx is finite, that is the integral over r yx dx is convergent. If you see this integral minus infinity to infinity e power x plus e power minus x by 2 dx, you can easily verify this integral is not a finite value, so it is not convergent. This you can understand if you take the area of this integrand or the area covered by this graph, it will not be finite. So this integral is divergent. सो ऑप्शन सी इज फॉल्स. 3 ऑप्शन डिस्कार्ड हो चुके हैं. अगर क्वेश्चन सही है तो ऑप्शन डी हैज़ टू बी ट्रू. सो ऑप्शन डी मस्ट बी ट्रू. This is one method, and there is another method. If you apply the Laplace transform, because this kernel is a convolution kernel, this is a convolution type or difference type. So if you apply the Laplace transform, it will give you a solution within 3 to 4 line again. But this is again an easy method. So either way you want, you can do. Laplace will give you the same solution. So this is question number 1. Now let us come to the problem number 2. This is of 4.75 marks. This problem is again an easy problem but needs some basics. If you have studied Riemann theory, then the problem will be easy. Consider the integral equation. Phi of x is fx plus e by 2 integral minus 1 to 1 x e power t phi t dt. Here your lambda is e by 2, and you know very well one thing, this is a non-homogeneous problem, so this turns out in the system of linear equation. The system is given by AC is equal to B. Let me give you the explicit form. This A is given by 1 minus lambda alpha 1 1 minus lambda alpha 1 2 minus lambda alpha 1 n minus lambda alpha 2 1 1 minus lambda alpha 2 2 minus lambda alpha 2n minus lambda alpha n1 minus lambda alpha n2 1 minus lambda alpha nn. This is your A matrix, this is your C vector, this is your B vector. Let me give you what are alpha ij's, what are ci's, what are bi's. See, if your kernel is kxt and your kernel is degenerate kernel, this method is applicable only when your kernel is degenerate or separable. That means this kernel can be expressed as the finite sum of product of function of x only and function of t only. So if your kernel is degenerate kernel, then suppose this can be expressed as the finite sum of fix and some function of x only and function of t only. So your alpha ij is given by integral. The integral is same according to the integral given in the integral equation. Integral a to b git fjt dt. First subscript of alpha is run over g, second subscript of alpha runs over f, and beta I is given by integral a to b git ft dt. This f function is coming from this side. If your equation is homogeneous, then you will be having the homogeneous system of linear equation. These are linear equation, this is the integral equation. And what are the ci's? Let me give you ci's. Ci is given by integral a to b git yt dt. When you put this kernel into actual equation, you will be having the form. Okay, here they have given in the phi, but I have taken y. Let me write phi t dt. When your equation is of this form, phi x is equal to fx plus integral a to b some kernel k phi t dt. When your kernel is degenerate, you will be putting this into this phi x plus integral a to b. Okay, let me put lambda again. Lambda integral a to b summation I is running from 1 to n fix git phi t dt. This integral is running over a t, so you can take the function of x outside. So you will be having fx plus lambda times summation I is running from 1 to n. This is from the property of Riemann integrable. So you are just redistributing your integral. This is integral of f1 g1 phi plus integral of f2 g2 phi. So you are taking sum outside because this is a finite sum, so you can do this. But if you are having infinite sum, you cannot do this. So it will be fix integral a to b git phi t dt. So I just assume this value as a ci. So ci is this. So you will be having fx plus lambda summation I is running from 1 to n fix ci. If you are aware of CIs, you are aware of your solution. Your fx is given, lambda will be given, fix is known from the kernel, so you just need CI to find the solution, and CI will come from this system of linear equation. Here your beta is are known, alpha is are known, lambda is known, so you just need these CIs. So you will solve this system and you will be getting your CIs. So this is the theory part. Now let me come to the problem. This is lambda and your kernel is x e power t, so it is x e power t. This is your f1, this is g1. So now you will have only one equation because your n value is 1. So it will look like 1 minus lambda alpha 11 times c1 is equal to beta 1. It will look like this. Now you need to compute alpha 11. Let us compute alpha 11. Alpha 11 will be integral minus 1 to 1 git fit g1 f1t dt. It will be integral minus 1 to 1. G1 is e power t, f1t is t dt. If you calculate this, you will be getting 2 by e. This is easy calculation. Just integrate by प्रोडक्ट ऑफ टू फंक्शन. आप इसको फर्स्ट मान लो और इसको सेकंड मान लो, इसको फर्स्ट मान के सॉल्व कर लो. सो यू विल बी गेटिंग द इंटीग्रल. आफ्टर पुटिंग द लिमिट्स ऑफ दिस इंटीग्रल यू विल बी गेटिंग 2 बाई ई. नाउ योर दिस इज 2 बाई ई, सो दिस पार्ट इज गोइंग टू बी 1 माइनस लैम्डा इज e by 2. दिस इज 2 बाई ई. c1 is equal to beta 1, so this is 0. So in this case your beta 1 is 0. So you will be getting solution provided your beta 1 should be 0. So we have to observe the condition whenever your wherever your beta 1 is getting vanished. Now let me take beta 1. This beta 1 is given by, according to the theory version, integral minus 1 to 1 g1 is e power t into ft. ft is say ft dt. This is this function and this is getting vanished. Now come to the option A. There exists a continuous function f from minus 1 to close 0 to open 0 to infinity, for which solution exists. We know solution will exist provided your beta 1 should be 0. If beta 1 is non-zero, the system will be inconsistent. So we need beta 1 to be 0. If I choose my function to be defined from this interval to this interval, can I have this part as 0? See, this e power t is a positive function on this minus 1 to 1 interval. This ft is a positive function. This ft is a continuous function. This e power t is a continuous. Product of two continuous function is again continuous. And continuous function is always Riemann integrable from over some closed and bounded interval. So this part is Riemann integrable. And by Riemann theory, if your function is positive, then the area will be positive. You cannot have the 0 value because this is a positive function. Because of this, range is always positive, e power t is always positive. So this integral will be always positive for this choice of f. Similar argument for option B. Option B is saying there exists a continuous function f from minus 1 to 1 to minus infinity to 0, for which a solution exists. For solution we need this beta 1 to be 0. But if you choose your f to be minus infinity to 0, that is your f is a negative function. It will take only negative values. Once it is taking negative values, it is taking positive values. So this overall it will take negative values. You can take minus sign common out. Then you will be having integral minus 1 to 1 and a positive function which is a continuous. So that will give you at least some area which is a positive area. And because of negative sign, this cannot be 0. This part has to be negative in this case. So this has to be negative in this case. So you cannot have beta 1 as a 0. So you will not have a solution. You will not have a solution in this situation. So option A and option B are false. Option C, for fx is equal to e power minus x 1 minus 3x square, a solution exists. अगर ये integral 0 जाए, then solution will exist. Now let us see this situation and what is the meaning of this mathematically. Beta 1 is minus 1 to 1 e power t. Your ft is e power minus t 1 minus 3x square d 1 minus 3t square dt. If this part is getting 0, what is the mathematical meaning of this? Can I say this ft is orthogonal to this, because this is an inner product. Inner product of f comma g is given by integral minus 1 to 1, or say integral a to b fx gx dx. If your f and g both are continuous function and both are real valued, if your function are not real valued, this will not be an inner product. So for inner product, this has to be real. If it is complex, you can take conjugate here. But if you define this g integral a to b fx gx bar, then it will define an inner product if you are taking the complex function also. So this is an standard integral inner product, or you can say this is the basic integral inner product on the side of all continuous function. Function may be continuous, may be real valued, may be complex valued, may be real valued, it will be an inner product. But if it is real valued, you can remove this conjugate. So under this inner product, this has to be 0. Your a value is minus 1, b value is 1. So you are seeking for those functions which are orthogonal to e power t. If you generally go to find the e power t orthogonal function, or set of all orthogonal function which are orthogonal to e power t, you may not get. That is why they have mentioned two functions in the option C and option D. So they are first removing this e power t, then creating such function whose area is getting vanished in this interval. And you can easily observe this function will be somewhere positive, will be somewhere negative. It cannot be throughout positive, cannot be throughout negative, because those options we have discarded from option A and option B. So that is the basic logical. So if you compute this will be integral minus 1 to 1 minus 3t square dt. It will give you 0. You can verify. So in this situation you will have a solution. Now same argument for option D. If you go for option D, your area will be your beta 1 will be 0 for choosing function to be e power minus x plus x cube plus x power 5. Then you will have a solution. So option C and option D are correct. So this is little lengthy problem, just to make you feel comfortable in the theory. I hope आपको problem समझ में आई होंगी. But still, if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section also. You can do WhatsApp me also. And if you have any suggestion for us, you are always welcome. Thanks for watching this solution series.